without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Connor from Bennett Trim Tabs. And Connor, if you could just say hello and tell us a little bit about Bennett.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Brandon. Kind of echo what he's saying. We all understand what's going on in the world right now, kind of untested waters here. Hopefully, this can prove to be maybe a 15-minute little break from the craziness and scariness of the real world right now, and take the time to teach you a little bit about Bennett. I personally, I'm an account manager at Bennett Marine. I've been with the company a little over 3 years now. Just a little, modern history about Bennett. We got acquired by Yamaha Marine about 2.5 years ago. Since then, we've really seen an uptick in kind of product development, efficiency, just everything that the Yamaha brand brings. And it's been a great partnership with Bennett as well. And, like Brandon said, any questions you have, please chime in, let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. And if I can, I'll push you in the right direction.
Awesome, Connor. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. So we'll just try and, just dive right into it, right?
Yep.
So like the first question that people ask when they walk into the Bennett booth all the time is they're like, I'm not sure whether I got Bennett trim tabs or not. Like, how do I know if I got Bennett trim tabs on my boat or not?
Right. So the easiest and quickest answer is most companies, the switch themselves will have the logo of the company on it. Obviously, though, that's not 100% of the time. So in terms of deciphering between Bennett and some of our competitors, our classic hydraulic trim tabs have the notoriety of the 3 or 4 raised rings on the cylinder body itself. You'll find this on the bottom third of the actuator body. In terms of figuring out if it's Bennett electric or hydraulic, because we do have both, the hydraulic actuators are going to be much skinnier. The electric ones are a little bit wider. And as well, the electric switches themselves will always have a lightning bolt on them to notoriety itself that it is the Bolt electric trim tabs. And again, the classic hydraulic will have the 3 or 4 raised cylinders and be a much skinnier actuator itself.
Perfect. That's exactly what they need to know when they're walking in there. Just they want to figure out which brand they got, how they get it, and then for replacement parts and how they get through things. That's definitely one of the top questions I always get. So if they did decide they had our hydraulic trim tabs or somebody else's hydraulic trim tabs on their boat, and they wanted to go to like these new electric ones, can you talk a little bit about like what's required to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we currently have 2 what we call conversion kits in the market. The first one is our hydraulic to bolt conversion kit, and this is for boaters that have Bennett hydraulic system in place already. And say for whatever reason, maybe the pumps failed after a long time, or they just want to have a little quicker reacting system and they want to go to the Bolt electric, they can use this conversion kit. And the real benefit of it, you don't have to switch out any tab itself. You can use the same trim tab. It's the same hole pattern, so you don't have to drill any new holes on the transom. You'll simply just switch out your hydraulic actuators with 2 new electric ones. You'll get rid of the old hydraulic power unit and put in a relay module that comes in the conversion kit. And then the big advantage is you are able to use your existing rocker switch that you have with your hydraulic system. So you're not running any new wires, you're not running any new holes on the transom. You're simply just swapping out the 2 actuators and the pump with the relay module and the 2 electric trim tabs. And you will, even though it's being operated by hydraulic system, or a hydraulic switch rather, you still get the lifetime warranty that comes with our electric actuators once you make the conversion. The second conversion kit that we have is our Lenco, our main competitor. It's a Lenco to Bolt conversion kit, and it's the same premise. You get to use the Lenco tab, the Lenco switch. You'll simply just be swapping out the actuators to Bennett. Same hole pattern again, so you don't have to patch any holes, drill new ones. And again, you'll get to use the lifetime warranty that our actuators bring.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Yeah, I tell you what, if you could come work all the trade shows with me, that'd be awesome. You could just fire up all these questions. I know you're at a bunch of them, but the open houses would be great to have you there. So On the transom, when I'm going to install a set of trim tabs on, customers ask me this all the time, like, how much room do I need to install a set of trim tabs?
Right. So for our hydraulic side, we have two standard length actuators. The longest is 13 3/4, which if it's a perfect 90-degree transom, you need about 12.5 to 13 inches of vertical clearance. And then we also have a shorter actuator that's 11 3/4 inches, where you need roughly 11 inches to mount. On the electric side, we only have one size actuator, and it is the 13 3/4. However, we have two different types of tabs where on the standard, the bottom of that actuator is going to mount at a riveted angle that's about 3/4 of the way back on the tab. And you're going to need the same 12.5 to 13 inches to mount there. However, if you don't have that, a lot of boats have swim platforms, have things in the way. We do have what we call edge mount trim tab systems, where the bottom of the actuator will move from that riveted angle all the way to the very back edge of the tab, and it drops the top of the actuator down on the transom, and you only need 6.5 to 7, depending on the angle, inches of clearance. So there's very few setups where you don't have 7 inches. We do get that there are quite a few that you don't have the full 13 you need, but we do have the edge mounts on the electric side and the smaller actuators on the hydraulic to fit pretty much any transom.
Oh, cool. What about boats that don't have like any sort of, you're not going to put a hydraulic pump on or that sort of thing? Like I know people ask us about like the spring sort of tabs a lot for smaller boats.
Yeah, so we also have the SLT, or the self-leveling spring-loaded tabs. They're really, like you said, designed for skiffs kind of up to 19 feet. They're really affordable option, and they're really just designed to get the nose down and help with porpoising. Nothing goes through the transom. There's simply just two actuators and two tabs attached to the back. There's no tubing, no wiring. They're not manually controllable once you're underway. You simply just pull a pin before you leave, and then you got spring tension at all times. They aren't designed really to help with listing or any sort of port starboard adjustments, but like I said, for getting the bow down, helping with porpoising, they're a very affordable option. And they are the shorter they're the same body as the short hydraulic cylinder, so they're going to fit on most every skiff.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Connor. That's really good information as well. So if I'm working on trying to field these questions from one side on this side, is field questions on the other side. So I got a few things on. I'm trying to produce and host, and I'm not a show host, right? I said that at the beginning. But if I wanted to sort of like forget about my trim tabs right now, because I'm trying to deal with my phone and everything else going on, and I just wanted to like, leave my trim tabs on automatic. Is there any way to do that with them?
Yeah, so for both our hydraulic and electric systems, we have a Auto Trim Pro control switch. And what this does, it's kind of a 3-in-1, where it is a manual control if you have the time and the attention, you want to use it manually. But then it also has an automatic feature to it. And how it works is, first time you install the system, you'll take out the boat, set up a few angles like an acceleration state or rest state, just really teaching the brain box that we call it, kind of where it is on your boat and how the boat performs. And then once you set all those angles, you'll get the boat running how you like it. You'll manually move your tabs to get the bow angle that you like, and you will store that as a favorite setting. And what the system's doing, it's not memorizing where your tabs are, it's memorizing the angle of the bow and the angle of the boat. So if any conditions change, if you have more people on board, if winds pick up, it's not going to say, oh, I know I need to have the port down halfway and the starboard down a third. It's going to know I need to get that bow angle back to where it is. And again, we have that for electric and hydraulic. The only difference in the two is our hydraulic systems, to get the indication, the lights to show you where the tabs are, you do need sensors installed in the actuators. It is what they call true indication, meaning there's a copper sensor coil inside of the actuator. And as the tabs move up and down, a metal rod moves up and down inside that sensor and shows on the control pad where your tabs are. And conversely, the electric system, it's just a timing system. They move so much more consistently at the same speed, all of our electric actuators, that the system knows a half second of run time is, say, a half inch or whatever it may be. And that's how it indicates on the control switch.
Awesome, cool. So I got my first question from a peanut gallery here. Let's see, got to probably have to put glasses on for it. How often do I have to change my hydraulic fluid?
In a perfect world, you never should have to change it. If there's not a leak and you're not getting water in the system, that fluid should work from the time it's installed to the time it's, the lifetime of the boat's over. It's really not a hard process to do. So if you do your, routine maintenance on the boat, it's a quick little 5-10 minute process, and you can't over change the fluid. Let me put it that way. You shouldn't ever really have to. You shouldn't ever lose any fluid. You shouldn't ever have any water in there. But at the same time, if you wanted to change it out as part of your routine maintenance, it's not going to harm the system at all.
Perfect, thanks. Got another one from the gallery here. And by the way, if you've got other questions, just mention them into the chat. I'm trying to keep up with them on my phone. And then you can also try and join the Zoom meeting if you want. I know there's a link on there, and you can ask questions live of Connor. You don't need to have a web camera to do that. You just can do it on your phone, click the link, and you can join right in on Zoom. So let's see, one of the other questions here, Connor, was, excuse me, if I've got specialty tabs on my boat and I need a replacement, are those available?
Yes, so Bennett being around since the 60s, been making tabs since then. We actually truly still have every print of every tab we've ever made. So even if it's your 1970 Bayliner, we have the tab still in our system. The only kind of extra step for the consumer or for the dealer is we got to get the OEM involved. If it's a specific OEM tab, we have no record or don't keep any track of which makes and models the OEM installs X tab on. So what we have are the kits that we sell to the OEMs. So what you would want to do is contact your OEM, give them the make and model of your boat, and they should be able to give you a Bennett trim tab kit number that was installed on that vessel on that make and model. And then if you get back with us with that kit number, we can look that up in our database and see exactly what tab you have on the boat and what you need to replace it with. And we also have a new laser cutter in-house. So once we figure out what tab you need, it is not a long, drawn-out process to get it made for you. It's as simple as getting the drawing set up in the laser cutter and let the machine do what it needs to do.
Wow, awesome. So cool to be able to get the answers right from the factory. You've got a lot of fans out there for sure. You're doing a great job, Connor. Your fan club here is cheering you on as we go along, if you can't see these messages. Another question from the gallery here is, how do I know what dealers around these folks are stocking parts?
So that's a great question. Craig, our marketing director, he's made our website, I think, one of the best in the industry. That's been his baby the last few years. And part of that website is a dealer service locator. On that, if you hit the link at the top, there's a where to buy link and a map will pop up. And as you type in your zip code, it goes around to your area. You'll see dealers pop up. And what these dealers do, they've either confirmed with us that they stock our parts, that they're certified as working on Bennett product, or that they carry a dealer service kit, which simply just carries a lot of our replacement parts. But that truly is the only resource that we use to suggest to customers where they may go. Check the dealer service locator. We know everyone on there has been around Bennett, has sold Bennett, and worked on Bennett for a long time. So we feel comfortable with them getting your business.
Awesome. That's a good Bennett territory world US-wide company answer, but we're a little bit more political here at Atlantic Marketing, and we're in the Northeast. So if you've got a chance and you've got a local dealer to you, like Connor mentioned, you can find them on the website. Most of our dealers they have pickup setups. So the product can be dropped outside the dealer. If you just give them a call, stop by, they'll have it and be able to load it for you in your car. And then we've got, at the same time, Defender right now. One of my big customers is actually having a big warehouse sale right now. And they've got Bennett trim tabs and parts and accessories on sale online. And if you get a minute to head over there, check it out. I know they have a pickup setup system working as well, and can get you parts. So if you want to go work in your backyard for a little bit and get some work done on the boat and get it ready to go, you can find products that way. So let's see, Connor, the last question that I had sort of set for you here is, we talked a little bit about how you get to trim tabs, you know, where you're putting them on the boat, that sort of process. But what do you got for new products?
Yeah, so we this year we came out with 3 new control switches or types of controls, 2 of which are for our electric systems and one's for hydraulic. The first one is our joystick. So if any of you have been around Bennett for a long time, you remember back in the 80s, 90s, we had an old little metal joystick. Kind of a love-hate relationship between all our customers. Some people love it, some people not so much. They tended to break. Obviously, anything metal in the marine industry, you know, corrodes. So we brought back joystick. It's more of a plastic version, and it's for our electric systems. It's actually the first kind of project that we worked on with Yamaha engineering, kind of together, hand in hand. It's a completely manual switch with a kind of more intuitive design rather than some people get confused with the 2 rocker type. You know, what button do I press to move what tab can get a little confusing. The joystick, it's as simple as you're just pushing the joystick in the direction that you want the bow to move. So it's a little bit more intuitive. It does have auto tab retraction as well, which simply put, as soon as you cut power to the engines, the system's going to bring your tabs up for you, so you don't forget next time you go out, you back down on them, damage them, anything like that. The other 2 new switches are pretty much the same thing, but there's a hydraulic version and an electric version. There are OBI, or one box indication. And what we've finally done, we've got rid of any relay modules that you need in our system. So simply put, for our electric, our old indication system, you would have to run wires to a relay module and then another wire up to the display. Now you're just running 2 wires from each actuator straight to the back of the display, and you're going to have your indication. Same thing for hydraulic, except kind of as I alluded to before, there is the extra step of the sensors, but still you're eliminating that relay module, which over the years we've had great record on our warranties in terms of less than 1% failures, but small relay modules that are usually in the bilge that do get wet, those have kind of been our problem with the warranty. So eliminating that product is going to be great. Like I said, everything just runs right to the back of the switch on the console itself, and then you're good to go.
Awesome. So we actually have got a guest here in the guest room, and I'm going to let them in. And if they just bring themselves off mute, and put the camera on. So if you just go ahead, you can probably ask your question directly to Connor if you're on. Awesome. So we actually have got a guest here in the guest room. Yeah. So I think our guest is watching the Facebook Live also at the same time, and that sometimes happens where it replays over the Zoom meeting. So you can only be in Facebook Live. I learned this in the last call. You can only be in Facebook Live or the Zoom meeting. You can't be in both of them because there's a little bit of a delay there. But if you're here in the Zoom meeting and you're not on mute, you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you great.
Okay, awesome. So I was thinking about installing a new trim tab system to my boat, just because I wanted to give it better performance on the water. And I was wondering if you think I could do it myself, or should I reach out to a mechanic or someone to have it done for me?
So it kind of really depends on your level of handiness. We've definitely seen plenty of systems installed in the past by the do-it-yourselfer, someone that works on their boat a lot. It's definitely not an overcomplicated system, especially with the electric. You're not messing with the pump or the tubing or fluid. Really, the biggest thing we tell people, if you are going to do it yourself, kind of the old saying, measure 4 times before you drill once. Obviously, drilling a hole in the back of your boat doesn't make anybody feel comfortable. But if you just take your time and make sure you get the measurements right, our installation instructions are awesome. They come with templates that you can print out. They're to scale. You can put them on the transom yourself to see exactly where it's going to lie, where you need to drill. Really, it is something you can do yourself if you feel comfortable doing so.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks for that tip. I was doing some research online, watching some of your videos, and I was just wondering if I could actually do it myself.
Cool. Yeah, the videos are a great resource also. Like I said, Craig's put a lot of time in the website. There's all these different installation instructions, kind of trim tabs 101 videos. So definitely that's a great resource to use also.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Kier. All right, so I don't think I've got any more stuff, questions from the peanut gallery here. So I think we'll probably just wrap this up, but I wanted to really thank you for joining us, Connor. It was super informative. I know I've been working with Bennett for over 25 years and I learned something from it. We'll have this video shared on YouTube, so you'll be able to see the whole thing if you missed some of Connor's earlier questions. And you know, everybody, you know, just we'll get through this. There will be voting again, and you know, I hope everybody's safe.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much. Atlantic's been a great partner, and kind of like you said, just stay safe. We'll get through it. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We'll get there.